probably the biggest lift of anything I'd say I've done is that sort of watch next experience inside of your video player. I know people tend to think of it as obviously when you're watching a series, sort of autoplay to the next episode of the show. But leveraging that to surface correct content, particularly where the AI comes into the additional context piece, serving up the correct next thing. If you can keep people in the video player, it naturally juices engagement there. And it's not just like, oh, they watched a movie, get them to watch the next movie. A lot of times people are watching the newest episode of a show. And so there is no next episode to bring them into. So you're identifying the next piece of content and getting them into there. That is always a huge driver of further engagement there. And then also around sort of push notifications, things like that. But like, and it could be literally push notification. It could be a marketing email. But something we've seen it's been a good driver for customers of ours is identifying what somebody is watching and then sending them push notification stuff that are tied to that. Oh, they started watching the show. They abandoned it. Maybe they forgot to finish that movie. Try to get them to watch that. So all of those are things that drive. And then things that we're not just working on, but we've launched and seen material impact are basically improvements to our search our search algorithms and increasing, I talked about this earlier, but using AI to understand semantic meaning of content in order to drive better content similarity and identify connections between pieces of content you might have missed otherwise, and then show those higher up in search results. That has driven material impact for customers of ours that are on that version of our search API, and that's something we're rolling out with more customers over time.
I'm wondering about the do you have anything that stands out to you over your time, whether it's in your previous days or now with MediaCon, that are some perhaps random but outliers, that a trend you can say that, hey, if this person's doing X or not doing X, they're way more likely to churn than someone who's doing Y. The example I actually have that stuck with me, the first times I heard talked about this, was actually years and years ago when the old NBA app existed before MediaCon actually got involved. And there was a stat that was something to do, I can't remember the exact number, it was basically if we saw them consuming non-live content on the platform, that was the best indicator that they were going to stay in and stay on if they weren't just what's coming on for the live. Do you have any interesting outliers that can really point to someone either churning or just staying on as a long-time customer, other than just watching lots of stuff?
Still in the realm of watching stuff, but a little bit more granular on this front and whatever the patterns are that exist with our customers, which is a little bit varied from customer to customer. So I don't know if that's a great answer as it relates to our current customers at MediaCon. I haven't been here long enough to identify those patterns, but certainly in my previous roles, where original series was such a big part of what we were doing, that original series, and particularly users watching more than like free trial conversion, the magic number is getting them to watch that second series. If they come in and they come in, they watch an original series, they try to fit the entire thing into the free trial. Sometimes, I'm sure we've all done this, wait until the entire season is done and up, and then you sign up for the free trial, watch the entire season, and leave before the free trial ends thing. If you can get somebody to watch a second original series, or any original or not, get somebody to watch a second series besides the one that they came in and initially watched, that is a dramatic inflection point in terms of the number of people. So we were always, for example, setting that as like an OKR for the quarter or whatever, to be like, try to get that number from one series per user to 1.5 or whatever on average. So that was one that was always a huge one. So yeah, I'd say that's probably the best example of a magic thing that would work as a lever to get people in. Actually, one other one I'd mention here, which I think it's really important not to take the eye off the ball, which is something we care about a lot, is sort of the reliability of your service, certainly. And this is where I love selling MKIO platform with MKIO under it, because it is a rock solid, bulletproof streaming solution, which is why the DAZNs of the world and people and NBA and whatever love our product, is because scalability is through the roof of what we're capable of doing and the video quality that we provide. And one thing I've seen over time, right, and some of the better, quality of experience and observability of what's going on in your platform. And if you can figure out, which we did over time, certain sort of metrics around startup time in the video player and things like that, where you can often do sort of like churn prediction based on certain metrics around video quality, like video quality and video playback and startup time and
Yeah.
things like that. Like, it's not just like fix the bugs and make it better. You can often, if you look in the data close enough, and I've done this in some cases, like identified specific metrics that do impact your churn, which is hugely helpful, because while quality of the product, obviously everyone understands, sometimes people churn off of a product because of poor quality, but often that is in app store ratings or in like NPS surveys and things like that. And it's hard to tie that type of data to individual users and their behaviors at scale, like in your engagement data, because app store reviews are completely divorced from the data you have of like usage of the product.
Right.
But this video quality and quality of experience is a piece where you can tie it to user cohorts and understand how the quality of your experience impacts churn.